Hey! Yippee! Hey! Yippee! Hey! Happy Friday, everyone. We are at the Marshall Pass Trailhead starting segment 16 of the Colorado Trail today. So this will be our official start of segment 16 through segment 28 to Durango. It is actually quite a nice day, not too cloudy yet. There's supposed to be a 20% chance of showers in the afternoon. It's windy and it's also cold, so I am glad I stuck with my 3-layer shell going into these next couple of segments. But we are going to try to get 11 miles into the hike today to go camp in the next water source. So the next couple of segments do have longer water carries, anywhere from 10 to 20 miles. Oh, and forgot to mention, we are going approximately 14.7 miles in this segment and 3,164 feet of elevation gain. So it should be a rather rolling / flat segment. And that is great because our pack is super heavy with all the food and water that we are carrying. We are carrying approximately 5 liters of water and 4 days worth of food for both me and Remy. And Remy and I go through about 5 pounds of food per day. So you can do the math on that one. But anyways, gonna get this hike started. Here we go. So we're about 2.5 miles into the hike. It's definitely a slow and gradual incline, which is nice coming off the Collegiate West if you're coming from over there. There isn't a lot of camping except for the beginning of the trailhead. So just keep that in mind if you're thinking of hiking a couple miles in, like that hike further. Right now I'm on this older Jeep road that we're following up, and I think this is our second climb of the day. It doesn't look like there's anything over a 15% grade. Where there was a couple of flat spots, it's in a heavy beetle kill area. So just be very careful if you have to camp there, and don't make it further into the segment. But anyways, our mileage per hour is doing pretty well. So hopefully we can get to that 11 miles to camp tonight. Otherwise, if we're early enough, we might go all 14. But anyways, hiking on. So at about 3.7 miles in, you'll get a really good view of Ramparo Mountain. It sits at about 13,000 feet. And then that right there is Sheep Mountain at about 12,500. So we're about, 4.8 miles in, and if you can see through the trees back there, it's a very distinguishable and tall peak along this range, and that's Mount Urey. Sits at about 13,800 feet, but one of the bigger peaks in this area and very distinguishable if you look over to your right if you're heading southbound. So we just reached our peak elevation at about 11,700. It's kind of a slow and steady climb, very sneaky, I'll say, kind of like segment 4 after you get out of the wilderness area and you're in that valley and you just have a slow climb up. But we do have a descent of about 1,400 feet in the matter of a mile and a half. So it looks pretty steep. Gotta watch them knees. And then we'll remain at about that elevation, very flat for about 5 miles until we start climbing again. But anyways, not too bad. You're in and out of tree line. So from a dog standpoint, the exposure isn't too bad. You're always kind of able to get in some shade if it was hot outside. And then the terrain is almost always, so far, kind of mud and pine needle. So pretty good for the paws and nothing too rocky. But anyways, better watch my footing before I fall. Just a deer. Oops. Chilling. Hey, buddy. Just chilling by himself. So we made it to 7 Tank Creek, and we're gonna camp here for the night in a very premier campsite. And then tomorrow morning, get up early, finish the last 4 miles of the segment, and get into segment 17. We've got about a 10 to 11 mile water carry, so we're gonna try to fill up as much as possible here. And hopefully, according to Gut Hook, there should be reliable water this year at Razor Creek, but crossing our fingers and hopefully we make it. We did also meet a new friend on trail. Her name's Rebecca. I'm going to flip it around. Tell everyone where you're from.
I'm from Fort Collins, Colorado, and hiking the CT because it was the thing to do this summer.
So, forgot to say goodnight, but we'll see you in the morning. Good morning, everybody. We are just headed out of camp tonight, or camp this morning. It is a balmy 37 degrees and getting our hike started. The weather today is looking pretty good, about 20% chance of rain later this afternoon, but otherwise should be a very good hike. We've got about 3.5 miles and 1,300 feet of elevation to do this morning. Remy, really? So, Remy decided to take a big poop right near the creek, in an area also where I couldn't bury it. So that was nice of him to do this morning. But anyways, I forgot to mention, I think last night, that the descent down is actually kind of tough, not because it's too steep, but because there's a bunch of loose rock. So it's just more annoying because you can't go at a good pace, and I was worried about slipping and tripping. But just keep in mind as you're coming off that descent, it's not as smooth as going up. But anyways, continuing on with our hike. we're just gonna move along our way. So I'm actually not sure if we ended segment 16 and we're on 17 now, but according to the map, we should already be moving on to 17. It isn't a distinguishable trail junction. It just says faint Jeep road where it switches over. But according to the miles hiked so far, we should be moving into 17. But anyways, that is another 14.7 miles off of our 500 miles of fun in 2021.